Sit up right in here, chair.
Seat.
Yeah, no, let's see.
So we'll just ask some preordained questions and to the best degree possible, answer them as you feel. I'll start unless somebody else wants to. There's a question here. What is your vision of Lake Elmo in the next 10 years? What are the most important concerns or issues that the city will have to face in this time period?
From what I see, I think a lot of it's just going to be the handling the growth. Obviously, we see there's a lot of brand new construction going up all over the place. I've heard potential, probably our current higher density population, particularly around 94 and 94 and 10th Street, seeing some of that growth there. So I think a lot is going to be simply demand on what's happening, the usage of our utilities, the usage of how things are getting dispersed between those areas. I'm a nurse, so in my view, it'd be more of a public health thing where we have to make sure that we maintain the health of Lake Elmo and their citizens. And we add a bunch of people to this area, how's that going to impact that health of somebody? Is that going to impact just the wildlife, the nature, how things look around here, and make sure our citizens stay healthy. So I think that would be our big focus. Obviously, the 3M stuff is a huge issue where water, so that's always a big deal. And as a cancer survivor myself, I kind of understand and advocate for making sure our citizens stay cancer-free.
Can you follow up more on that, though? Recording this?
Yeah.
Okay. Airing it? Live?
I don't know if it's live or if they're just recording it, yep.
Just a recording, but
You know, you mentioned, I think I read it in your resume or whatnot, the questionnaire. As far as the health, how does that impact your decisions on the planning commission?
I guess for me, I'd like to look at, as a planning commission, look at what comes in and how we plan to expand Lake Elmo. I mean, we obviously are not going to be isolated as the growth expands. I see the Twin Cities in general becoming a mega metropolis, expanding all the way through Wisconsin. We're going to be settling through with that, particularly as we have a Highway 36 north of us, Highway 94 south of us. We are going to become the next Champlin, the next city of that nature, where we are going to be in the middle of a massive growth. And so how do we control, maintain, and encourage a healthy environment around here, and the citizens that are already here and citizens that are going to come here. So I think that would be a huge piece. Because again, I think the terms are 3 years only, so I don't imagine that 3 years is going to be able to make massive changes. But
Right.
being able to look at, plan out, think about those things as we grow would be how I kind of approach things for planning like that.
Okay.
thank you. Somebody else care to ask a question?
Mary says, yes, we are live.
Okay.
Assuming a controversial land use issue is before the commission, how would you reconcile your personal opinions and emotions should they be in conflict with the policies and regulations established by the City of Lake Elmo Comprehensive Plan, Lake Elmo Department ordinances, and the Lake Elmo Engineering Design Standards? Are you comfortable making decisions that may be deemed unfavorable by some, perhaps even at odds with your own preferences?
I think that comes with any position, particularly in politics, where everybody has to go through that at some point in their life. You're going to end up with something in front of you that you may not like the answer for, but it is the answer you're just going to have to deal with it. If it's within the policy and it's within the rules, there is no reason that whether I like it or not, I can say no to something. It's not my place to be the judge, it's my place just to make sure that we follow what's in place. Sure, I can voice what my opinion might be, but again, if it's what the policy is and that's what we follow. Again, just like in nursing, if I don't like the way we do something, the policy is do it this way, it doesn't matter. You have to do it the way the policy says, and that's just what happens.
Thanks.
Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead,
I mean,
Councilman
that
Bloom.
it was a little, I didn't know how to take your first answer, because it kind of contradicts with the second answer as far as how you would act on the commission.
Sure.
And that's just what I want to make sure that, you understand when you're here, what, next Monday?
Sure.
Yeah, it is it's a boring job.
Yep.
There really aren't.
It's a civic duty.
Absolutely, absolutely, but really your opinion can't come into it. It's just,
Right.
is this legal? It's not like this where it's fun up here, we can argue back and forth and decide if we're gonna make it the rule. When
Right.
it's the rule, you just have to follow the rule.
Okay.
Based on that discussion, The planning commission, as you, I'm sure, are aware, just looking at the packets, there's extensive material, sometimes 200 to 300 pages of material. Do you have time in your day or your week that you're going to be able to look at that? Because eventually it comes to us.
Yep.
So your opinions and decisions
Got it.
are important.
As far as being able to review that, I guess if I'm given enough time, that would be deemed reasonable. I don't see a reason why it'd probably be an issue. I mean, I have kids that I have to take care of, occasional sports and occasional play you have to go to, but outside of that, there's nothing that's really pressing on my plate that would prevent me from being able to review information, be able to sort it and get back to you as see it.
Thank you.
So, council members, can we follow this, and then if we have additional questions on top of that, I think that we want to be consistent with our questions. So let's follow the questions, and then if we have follow-up, we can ask those questions. Because I think we just jumped to 4, kind of.
Go ahead, you want to catch up with 3? Or did you want to follow up with 4?
Well, let's follow up with 4 then, because we're on that.
Yeah.
Council recently approved changes to the structure of commission so that all members are full voting members. Commission meets twice a month, second and fourth Mondays. Can you commit to attending the planning commissions over the next 3 years?
Yeah, I haven't got unforeseen any significant losses or issues in my life. Yeah, nothing that falls, as long as life stays pretty boring as it is, I don't see a reason why I can feel make it.
And to Councilmember McGinn's, the commitment.
To be able to read all the information. Again, if there's that space between them, I would imagine I would have enough time to review things and make sure I understand what we're trying to do with the answers to.
Great.
I can take 3. We didn't do 3, right?
Correct.
My apologies for being late, too. Sorry. This position requires you to listen to the public and your fellow commissioners. Do you consider yourself a good listener? How do you describe your personal level of tolerance for views with which you might disagree?
I would consider myself a good listener. I mean, in nursing, that's what we do a lot of. There are a few listeners, something that's just kind of part of the job. I don't have problems listening to different views. I personally welcome them. I grew up in a unique situation. I was a missionary's kid, so I grew up overseas. So I've grown up and come from a world that is very, very different than a lot of people have not been able to experience. So granted me some unique views that have not always aligned with what have been what I would consider my view, which is great because it really opens up that there's a whole different world out there outside of your own. So it's good to respect and listen to those views and be willing to take them into consideration.
Thank you. Brennan, there's currently a 1-year term and a 3-year term open on the planning commission. 1 and a 3. Do you have a preference of which seat you take?
I don't. I would
Okay.
prefer the 3, yes.
Okay.
I can take between the 2. I think it'd be enjoyable to be part of the community one for a longer time.
Okay. Other questions, council? So there's a gas station down on Lake Elmo, or no, on 19 and 94, okay, hypothetical here, a gas station down there, and let's say, envision you're on the planning commission and somebody comes in and they want to put a gas station on the other side of the corner, the other side of the street. First observation, any issues with that? Another gas station.
I guess I would have to look at what the traffic is like in that neighborhood. Is it going to increase the amount of traffic? Is it what's going to happen as far as potential crashes? Are we going to have cars trying to cross over on 2 lanes, across 4 lanes? Are we going to be seeing lights for a longer time? So I guess that would be my first concern, just something is it feasible to really put something there for safety issues? After that, I want to know, do we have the utilities in place? So we have to add utilities to that area to make that potentially happen. And then what the area is around that area. Is it going to be, is it zoned for commercial, industrial? Is it zoned for residential next to it? What's the long-term plan for that area? And again, what the population density is. Do we have the need for 2 gas stations in there? Because again, if we have another one come in and they both suffer, that doesn't help us at all. So I guess those would be the considerations I would first think about.
Thank you. Some of that, I guess, is self-serving, my question, because I just wanted to have the opportunity to kind of at least express some, I thought you answered good, concern of traffic is, planning commission would call it a traffic study or something, but you hit on it with your zoning. I mean, to a large degree, what it's zoned for, what's in the plan, that's how you interpret the code, and.
Yeah, but to draw on it all as well, though,
Go ahead.
and now we're just going back and forth with ourselves here. You can't, you have to look at whether it's legal or not. You can't look at, because neighbors are gonna come in and complain about the traffic. They're gonna say they're gonna be waiting at the lights too long, they're gonna say it's gonna be dangerous, all of those things, and we hear screaming at you, because that's what they do. And then what do you do at that point? It's whether it's legal or not is what the planning commission job is.
I heard him say
No, I know, I did.
zoning.
I did as
and
well,
heard-
but
yeah.
I was just saying all those other things. Yeah, that's the hard part about the job, is because next week, you never know who's gonna be in this audience.
Ask them for something.
Well,
Mhm.
yes, yeah. Yes, and it just, does it meet the code, and that's all you can fall back on, is does it meet the code?
Okay. And, I didn't start out with, we've all seen your application. If there's something that you'd like to share, or council wants to ask, what brings you here this evening, maybe I should have started with there, you can end with there. But if you guys have some more questions, and we certainly have time,
Yeah, what drives you to want to be on the planning commission?
My dad served on the planning commission for Maplewood for 10, 12 years back in the 90s. He always said it was fun. He always said it was good for him to do as a part of the civic duty, help make some pretty good improvements in Maplewood, some parts that needed changing, some parts that needed improvements, help bring in some better housing, better living situations for people by making some changes the way they did for the zoning and planning in that area. And I just saw that and always thought it was really interesting that he got to make those changes and make those improvements in his community just by being on a commission, our committee. So I just thought that was really interesting. I always thought it would be really fun. Plus, I figure I live in Lake Elmo, and it's, as a Lake Elmo citizen, I should do my due diligence and be part of the development of my community. And if I can do it through this, I can do it through this. Otherwise, I do shop locally, so that's about the other thing I can do after that.
Excellent.
Yeah, you're gonna look back, we reminisce out that you look back and like, especially that now, there's a lot of change happening, and you're gonna affect change, and it is neat to look back and be like, yeah, that happened. Right, exactly. Where'd you grow up? Where did you live during those times?
All right, so
For your perspectives.
what I remember.
Right.
My parents were missionaries, so I grew up in Liberia, West Africa.
Okay.
So I did that, and then we moved back to the United States. We landed in LA, in Fort Wayne, Indiana for a few years, and then finally Minnesota tonight. So I've been in Minnesota in Maplewood.
Yeah.
Since '93, my wife and I bought our first house in Oakdale in she's from Stillwater. She went to Stillwater High School. She went to Lake Elmo Elementary. I think there's still a teacher over there that's taught our kids now, so that's kind of an odd situation.
Yeah.
Then we moved to Lake Elmo only a few years ago.
Okay.
We've always had our eye in this area because she's always wanted to live in this area. But it wasn't until we opened and enrolled our kids into Lake Elmo Elementary, and we had our kids going to school there. And once our oldest went to Oakland, it was going to be the decision of do we have to drive one to school at 7:30 in the morning, come back at 8:30 in the morning. So we decided it was make that change.
You have to tell me your last name after the camera's off.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anything else, council?
Just a question, are you involved with any of you're in Easton Village there? Or,
No, Heritage Village.
oh, okay, you're on the other side, okay. As you had mentioned earlier, there's a lot of new construction going through up Manning, or potentially will be that area. How will you handle questions and that from your neighbors? I live in a newer area of the city down on the 94 area. It's been a unique experience to, have a completely new development down there. But you will be faced with more going on Manning, which has in some cases been controversial as far as exits and entrances. How do you feel about handling those questions and that within your neighborhood and that?
For me, I'm actually a very big advocate of change. There's no way to avoid it, and trying to is only going to cause animosity and problems and heartache for everybody. So for me, I personally see that there's the homes we live in, regardless, they're going to happen because that's what it's all for. It's going to be built. As far as people's views on those neighborhoods, if someone's nice to me, I'm nice to them. I don't have a problem with that. So they can bring that me, why are we letting this happen? Well, that's just the plan. That's what's, what's going to happen. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. There's not a way for us to really say that it can't if it's already been planned that way. I like new developments. I have some friends of mine that are actually buying right across the street from us in a brand new development because they can't wait to get back into Lake Elmo because of the opportunity. And they prefer to not have a yard. They don't want that lifestyle. And that wasn't an option a few years ago here. So I think it brings in some new people, it brings in some new families and new citizens that can bring us some, hopefully bring us some new ideas and a new community. It'd be nice to go with.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Any further? Any you'd like to share? I mean, that you haven't already? Okay. Not that you need to, I just feel like okay, all right. Well, I'm sure I speak for all of us and say thanks for coming in and offering to volunteer your time, and hopefully this wasn't too painful, All right, well, thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Me too.
Good luck.
Good thing Barry's there now.
What?
Oh, Barry. I said live text, so I did live.
Thanks for coming in, first off, we appreciate it. I think just in keeping with how we did the last one, the last interview, we'll just jump right into some questions for you. And then at the end, if you want to share something about yourself, that'd be great. You certainly don't have to. So Jordan, again, thanks for coming in. So the first question is, what is your vision of Lake Elmo in the next 10 years? And, and then what are the most important concerns or issues the city will face in that time period?
Yeah. My vision for the community is, I think, largely the community's vision for the community as well. And that is growing as mandated for the community, but growing in a thoughtful and strategic way that reflects the old community, the old town charm of the community, while also growing to the population that is required of the community. So thoughtful planned services in the community and growth.
All right, super. Councilmember Bloyer, want to ask a question?
Do you want me to follow up on that?
Sure, feel free,
Okay.
whatever you're comfortable.
Because I'd love to. I got to ask the question.
Yeah.
We always hear rural. Tell me about the rural charm of Lake Elmo.
I guess I drove through it on the way here. There is farming areas. There's it's a country feel, right? So there's large swaths of open plains that you drive through. There's not a highway that or an interstate that just in the middle of our town. We don't have a Target. There's a rural feel. There's a community here. I think that people appreciate.
Okay.
Good answer. Do you want to ask another
You want me to-
question? And just
are you
keep in
prodding
the
me to
same
keep-
form, yeah,
yes.
if we could, same
Should I
form.
go? I'll go to number 2
Councilmember Dorschner
for
doesn't
Mr.
object.
Dorschner.
I'm glad you guys are following rules.
I didn't know we had to go in order here. You missed us earlier. Assuming a controversial land use issue is before the commission, how would you reconcile your personal opinions and emotions should they be in conflict with the policies and regulations established by the City of Lake Elmo Comprehensive Plan Lake Elmo development ordinances and the Lake Elmo engineering design standards. Are you comfortable making decisions that may be deemed unfavorable by some, perhaps even at odd with your own preferences?
Yes, I think that's the goal of the commission, is to make the most logical decisions, and, I mean, at the end of the day, if everyone disagrees with something, we may have to change the rules, right? But if it is set forth in our comprehensive plan, and it is the goal of the community to move in that direction, and maybe it goes against what I want, that's ultimately what we have to do, right? So it's just taking something from a logical approach and putting maybe my own personal emotions aside and realizing that this is what is best for the community.
And what is the goal of the community? Where would you find the goal of the community?
Of our community?
Yeah, of Lake Elmo. When you say, what's
Well,
best
it's
for?
right there, right in the hallway. There's
Right.
the values and the mission statement of the community is one area I can find it. I can find the goal of the community and the community members themselves. And then if you're looking for a very strategic answer, the comprehensive 2040 plan. There's one planning goal of the community.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do three, I
Okay,
guess.
sure,
Yeah,
thank you.
This position requires that you listen to the public and your fellow commissioners. Do you consider yourself a good listener, and how do you describe your personal level of tolerance for views with which you might disagree?
Yeah, I think that in any good leader, you have to be a good listener. And so listening is critical. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? So I absolutely am here to listen. And again, I think as a commissioner on the planning commission, it is to listen to the community and do the right thing for the community, whether or not that's something that I personally agree with or not, is what the goal is.
So when you say do the right thing for the community, what do you mean by that?
Follow the guidelines that we set forward, or the answer that I gave Councilman Boyer, whatever the city has adopted as like our plan or our strategy, or what the community decides as a community, I guess, right? So taking in as many facts as possible and trying to make an objective decision.
Who did
The
four?
council recently approved changes to the structure of commissions so that all members are full voting members. The commission meets twice a month, the second and fourth Mondays. Can you commit to attending all of the planning commission meetings over the next 3 years?
I can.
And with that, can you commit to the work outside of that meeting that it would take to go through extensive packets regarding that meeting?
I believe I can, yes. Barring any outside force, I'm sure.
Okay. There is currently a 1-year term and a 3-year term open on the planning commission. Do you have a preference?
No. I would hope that if I were appointed to the 1-year term, that I would feel invigorated and hope to be reappointed for another 3-year term. But ultimately, I would hope that the council selects the person that you think is like the most strategic pick for the commission to serve a 3-year term, and then the 1-year term maybe goes to the less experienced individual.
Okay,
But I want to
Thank
serve
you.
in any way that I can.
All right.
Yes.
thank you.
What's your background? What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I am a program manager at Anytime Fitness headquarters in Woodbury, self-esteem brands down Anytime Fitness,
Yep.
Bar Method, Waxen City, and Basecamp Fitness. By trade, I actually went to medical school, and then after my first year of medical school in Des Moines, I realized that being a doctor is the world's worst profession, so I withdrew and went into software implementation and project management. So at Anytime Fitness or Self-Esteem Brands, I lead the strategic initiatives of the company that spans multiple departments. So anytime we do something that is strategic, that maybe we can leverage like our technology team and our marketing team, I come in and manage those initiatives.
I'm good.
How long have you lived in the area? You probably said it, I'm sorry
I
if you did.
not say it.
Yeah, just
this
curious.
Is this
Yeah.
is a knife, 5 months.
Sorry, well, that's all right. That's no knife.
It might be a good thing.
Look at your
Right,
jump
right,
right in,
right,
man.
right, right,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
There you go.
No, I moved in August, so I guess it's like,
You can say 6. Yeah, that counts.
so I'm in one of the newer communities, so we built a house here and.
Yeah.
Sure.
Trying to-
Welcome, Lake Elmo.
Welcome to Lake Elmo.
I didn't mention this to the previous applicant, but assuming it's not a problem, I'd like to, would you, if you're on, assuming you'll get on the planning commission, if you do it, would you commit to taking some league training? There's a, I don't know, couple-hour course or something from the league. What are you shaking your head?
Don't
at?
offer that anymore, remember?
They don't?
We found that out last year.
Yep.
There's not an online training at all?
No, not enough cities were participating in it, so they.
Would you commit to
no
a
longer
week's
offer
worth of
them.
training in Seattle?
If you send me.
In Hawaii?
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. so-
Have to go. Liaison.
Okay, so there's really nothing,
There's not the training through the league, that's the online stuff. There are opportunities that come up throughout the year to go to some trainings outside of the meeting time. We could probably find some of those, and we can find some materials that kind of lay out what your role as a planning commissioner would be, is, you know, particularly when you're sitting in a quasi judicial position. It's not so much about your feelings and what you think is right, but really about interpreting our code and applying that, so we can get
So
you some
maybe-
materials.
you'd peruse them a bit. Could I get that commitment from you? Okay, whatever she has available. Okay, you could do
Yes, I will
that.
do my best to,
Thank you, it's important.
educate myself and committed to certain activities.
You wanna ask your gas station question?
Oh, can I ask a
do.
question
Go
really quick
ahead.
so I don't
Councilor
forget it?
Bloor, would-
Because she just said it to me, totally
Like
off
that.
topic, but you'd expect nothing less.
Just being strict.
Board of Equalization,
Uh-huh.
she's
I've already
having hard,
got- I've already,
oh, you did it?
Yep.
Okay, so
no,
who's,
just
so are
ignore
we
it.
all
This is
good?
not at all related to this.
No,
so
not at
you're
all,
good.
but are we all good, so I don't forget?
We're all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hypothetical,
No?
Yes.
Ignoring them.
gas station down on, by the freeway on Lake Elmo Ave, or on 1994, it's a gas station there. Applicant comes in, wants to put another gas station just on the other side of the road, same, different corner, just same. Initial observation, understanding, you're on the commission, you're gonna vote on this to approve the applicant or deny. What are your thoughts?
What is the land zone for?
You know, it's zoned for a gas station,
It is. zoned
or
for gas-
retail, convenience center, stuff like that.
Commercial,
Yes.
Okay, if it is zoned for gas station, I determined that, I guess I would ask if there was like any type of work done outside of this to prove that another gas station is needed in our community. If there are results from that, I would interpret them as best as possible. I would confer with my other commissioners. If I hear that this is some type of very large issue within the community, maybe we would take more steps to determine whether or not this is the right move. But if people are really excited that we're gonna get a quick trip, then, like, I would say let's do it.
Okay,
Okay, they're
Councilman
not.
Bloyer.
They're not excited at all. It's filled with pitchforks and torches out there, and they're talking about how the kids are gonna get run over by all the excess traffic. But everything, I'm
Your
not
gas over-
exaggerating.
Your gas over my dead body.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly,
going
there you
on
go.
in there.
But everything that you just talked about comes and says, we gotta let this thing go. How do you vote?
Yeah, I think if it's zoned for gas, and like, I'm not an expert, right, so
Oh, right,
I'm here to
right.
learn.
Yeah.
But I think if it's zoned for gas, and, we determine that it is a needed thing for the community, then, yeah, I think we're getting a gas station.
Yeah, I think what I said before, it's kind of a self-serving question, just to kind of just kind of a reminder you there to interpret the code and look at the code, what's allowed, property rights and such.
Right.
But, certainly there's some considerations that proposals come forth, and the nuances of it and whatnot. So, anyway, all in all, just, that's fine. Good discussion. Go
So what
ahead.
drives you to wanting to be on the planning commission?
Growing up, I was always involved in the community, giving back, volunteering different positions and a lot of leadership positions. And now that I'm a father and like working, I don't see I'm not in the community anymore. So this is a way I think I can give back to the community, and yeah, be in a position that makes a difference.
Thank you.
Anything else, council? Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming in and your willingness to volunteer. We can use some more good people, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Jordan.
Seriously.
What?
It's true, man.